We're going. Thanks everyone for clicking on this link for our St. Patrick prayer. We're saddened by the situation with the coronavirus. We certainly remember all those who are sick, for those at risk, and for family members of those who have already died. May those who have died rest in the peace of Christ. Tomorrow is the feast of St. Patrick, and we wanted to offer this opportunity for people to at least reflect on our parish saint. Here's a prayer that is credited to St. Patrick, who was born in the year 389 and died in the year 461. St. Patrick had this prayer: Christ be with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in the heart of everyone who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. Certainly we're going through a very trying time as a planet and everybody on it because of the coronavirus. It's also good to think about the saints and how they went through trying times too, and St. Patrick was certainly challenged. He was the son of a petty Roman official who probably lived a fairly comfortable life, if we can think of that, in the year 389. It was on the west coast of Britain when Irish raiders came and took him and sold him as a slave. And he was sold to a variety of Irish chieftains, who eventually, to kind of a minor king, I guess you could say, he was able to eke out a living as a slave, he was able to eke out a living as a shepherd of sheep. But he was exposed to the elements, he was often hungry, and he was alone. And he was a teenage boy. So as difficult as we have it right now, certainly St. Patrick was under a lot of duress as well. He was a slave for 6 years, but during that time, he thought of the faith that his Christian parents had taught him on the west coast of what is now Britain. And he recited his prayers and he sang his songs, always thinking of a way to escape. Well, after 6 years, he was able to make his way to the coast and he was able to get on a boat. So after this arduous 200-mile journey, he wasn't caught. He got on the boat. He made it to the continent of Europe. And eventually he was able to return home. But he wasn't the same carefree lad that he was when he was captured as a slave. He knew about the hardships of life, but he also had a newfound faith. He decided to become a priest. And he was being educated as a priest in what is now France. It was called Gaul back then. When he started hearing these voices, and these voices were speaking Gaelic, the language of Ireland. And they were saying, would you please come back to us and walk with us once more? And St. Patrick couldn't get away from these voices. And so finally he went to his superiors and said, I want permission to go back to Ireland. And they granted him permission grudgingly, not sure that he was ready for such a dangerous mission to go back where he had been held as a slave. He went back already ordained as a bishop. And he was about 40 years old when he went back there. And for another 30 years, he wandered around Ireland. And he ordained hundreds of priests and he baptized thousands of people. And if there's any one saint who deserves credit for the conversion of an entire country, it's probably St. Patrick. He founded monasteries and convents, and he ordained all kinds of native clergy. And they were the ones that assisted him in his mission of evangelization. Yes, there's a legend, as you can probably see in the painting behind me that hangs in our parish hall, of St. Patrick casting the serpents out of Ireland. But in this book, All Saints by Robert Ellsberg, the author makes an excellent point. He said, what's even more amazing, if it's true, about casting the serpents out of Ireland, is what about the resentments in his heart of the people that had once enslaved him, whom now he preached to with love and fidelity. So maybe that's even a bigger miracle, is not only the conversion of Ireland and the battle that St. Patrick won in his heart, but just against all odds, returning to the nation where he had been kept as a slave, and now probably its most favorite and most famous citizen ever. There's other Irish saints too, St. Columcille, St. Bridget, and St. Kevin the Abbot, all kinds of inspiring people as we think of March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, our parish patron. We're very happy that you linked in so that during this time of crisis, we can go to the saints and ask their intercession for our healing and our conversion. God bless you.